Howdy Steelers, and welcome back to another game of What a Cowboy. This is the third in our ongoing campaign between the Snaggletooth Boys and the Bounty Hunters. They have now moved from the outlying territories of Lardville to the outskirts and to the lumber mill over here. We have got the Snaggletooth Boys, and they are going to be attacking the Bounty Hunters who are now holed up in the lumber mill. This is going to be a rescue situation at the lumber mill, and basically I'm going to decide probably some dry goods here. This is the item that the Snaggletooth Boys have to get in and take off the table to win the game. They're going to come in from this side over here, whilst the bounty hunters are going to be somewhere in here. I made a couple of mistakes last time. I think I caught them in the edit of the video, but I've managed to iron everything out at the end of the game anyway. So we've got the bounty hunters, they're down to $20 on their money. The Milky Bar Kid is still kicking around. He's not really got much reputation yet at this point. However, they've now been joined by a gunslinger called Bourneville Starbar, who is actually a bounty hunter, and he's got true grit, which means he can recover more shock quicker than the other guys. Also with them is Kit Kat and Malteser as well. Kit Kat is still a greenhorn, and Malteser is now a shootist. He used to be soft, but now he's got rid of that skill, so he doesn't have any skills, but he's not soft anymore. Meanwhile, on the other side, we've got the Snaggletooth Boys. They're still the same, so we've still got Bomber Kilminster, Filthy Wurzel, Eddie Fast Clark and Mickey D. They are all now shootists though, so that means they all start with a Bonanza token. And also, Filthy got a new skill, so he gets an extra Desperado card. And also, they found some loot as well down in the in wherever it was they were last fighting, which was the Prespexus camp, and they found themselves another Desperado card, so they can issue that to anybody else in the team. That's only for this one game though. So they're all pretty, they haven't really, I think they've only got $40, the Snaggletooth Boys, so they haven't got a great deal of money. They're slowly building it up. This is worth, I think it's worth maybe 3 or even 4 dice on the income dice. Let me just double check that for you. Because this is why the Snaggletooth Boys chose this as their next place to attack, simply because it was going to give them more income at the end of it. So let me just 100% find it. So where are we at? We're on the outskirts, and it is a timber yard. So yeah, 5d6 worth of income dice are potentially hanging about here in this yard. So this is basically it. This is the setup. I'll quickly show you the table anyway, and we'll just go through their Desperado cards as well, because I just dealt those out but haven't actually seen them yet, and we can just have a little bit of a closer look at some of the characters as well that are going to be involved in this one. As I say, I made a couple of mistakes in the final bits in the last video, but I have ironed all that out, I think, and I think we're back on board, and we're okay. We're doing okay. All right, let's have a look at the table and see if this game is going to be fast and loose. So over here we've got the Snaggletooth Boys. So we've got Bomber, we've got Filthy, we've got Fast Eddie Clark and Mickey D here. Now Bomber has got 1 Desperado card. He's got 1 Bonanza token. All of them actually have got 1 Bonanza token between them. They've all got 1 Desperado card each, apart from Filthy, who has 2. And then we've also got this other one as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see what the other Desperado cards are first, and then decide who to give it to. The weakest one will probably get it. So let's have a look. Bomber. His card is, on faster than you'll ever be, play at any time to move your character 2d6. That's pretty useful. Then we've got Filthy. He has got no one gets out of alive. Change any 1 action or Bonanza dice roll to a result of your choice, and don't die till later. Character. When a character is shot, reduce a critical wound to a wound. That's very useful. Then Fast Eddie has got people scare better when they're dying. Use this as 1 additional move dice in the current turn. Yeah, useful enough, I guess. And then finally Mickey D has got when they fall they make more noise. Sometimes they never get up. Use as 1 additional spot dice in the current activation. So the weakest out of those, I think, is probably Fast Eddie's. because it's only one additional dice, whereas at least Bomber has got a 2d6. So I'm going to give him the extra Desperado card, and it is when you shoot, don't talk. Recover 2 action dice from your shot pool, so that's pretty useful, to be fair. Right, let's have a look at the other guys and see what they've got as well. So this is the Bounty Hunters gang. So the Milky Bar Kid, and once again I'm giving out all the Bonanza tokens. He's got 1 Bonanza token. It says when you shoot, don't talk. Recover 2 action dice from your shot pool, useful. Then we've got Boville Starbar. Now he is a gunslinger. He has also got True Grit. True Grit allows him to use 1/6 to put 2 of his dice back from his shock pool into his action dice. So that's very good. He also starts with 2 Bonanza tokens, and on top of that he also gets to choose to change any one of the 1 to 5 results of his dice to any other result as well, not including the 6. So he's pretty good. And he has got every gun makes its own tune, uses 1 additional shoot dice in the current activation. That's pretty good for him, to be perfectly honest. Kit Kat, he's a greenhorn, and he has got, of all the dirty stinking tricks, when a character takes a wound, downgrade this to a shock. That's pretty good actually, because he's already got tough, even though I kept forgetting about it, which is the first wound is only a shock, so that's good. He can pretty much take two wounds as shock, so useful. And then Malteser, our new shootist, now has, I've got 2 guns for you, 1 for each of you. Take 1 shot at any target within 6 inch with a +1 to hit. Right, that's pretty good. And here is our table. So we've got the Snaggletooth Boys coming on from this side here on the left hand side. I got it wrong before. The deployment points, you have to actually pay for them to put them in, otherwise you'll just walk onto the table. You can spend $40 on them. Because this is a rescue, we've got some dry goods here which the Snaggletooth Boys are going to be going for, so this has to be taken off the table back this way. Now I can set up 2 of the Bounty Hunters anywhere up to 12 inches from the Snaggletooth Boys starting point, so that's pretty much the corner of that camp there, so that line there really up to there. So what I'm going to do, I'm wondering who's best to put on, and it might actually be worthwhile putting Boville Starbar on as our man guarding the dry goods themselves, because he's our best fighter. We've also got some townsfolk as well on here, so they're going to be reacting to things when stuff happens. And I've got another one as well, and I might put Malteser on with his Winchester actually. I can start him anywhere to 12 inch. So what I might do is get him up here in this cover, and then he's got this area that he is covering as well. Unfortunately, Bourneville only has a pistol, but a pistol is better than nothing. Alright, well that's the setup. Let's see who gets the first card. Okay, first turn of the game is, okay, 4 of spades. That is Mickey D. So let's see what he gets for his dice. Right, we've got 2 ones, so that means he can move on to the table. A 3, which is an aim, and 4 and 5 and 5. So that's an aim and shoot and shoot. Right, because he hasn't got brilliant dice, what I want him to do actually is probably just to get to some of this cover here. So I'm going to use first dice first of all to move into this cover. So that's just going to cost him 1 action dice. So let's have a look. That has got him 6 inches, so that brings him to the centre of the cover. And then, is it worth him running across to the other bit of cover over there with the other dice? Do you know what? No, he's not going to. He could spend his card and get a spot dice in the current activation, but the only person he can try to see is Bourneville over there, who is 16 inches away, so he'd need 2 spot dice because he's behind a fence and he's over 12 inches away. So he's going to leave it at that. That's going to be his turn. Okay, our next up then is 3 of spades. So this is Fast Eddie. So let's see what he gets up to. So we'll roll his dice. So he has got 2 6s, 3 5s and a 2, so that's a spot. It's 3 shoots and also 2 wild cards. Okay, what we want to do is actually get him into this cover here, and then try and probably spot across at Bourneville over there, I think. Or maybe no, probably he's better off in this cover. It's about the same. I think I'm going to bring him on here instead, a little further down to this end cover. So I'm going to turn a 6 into a 1 first of all, and he's rolling 2d6, 2 inches, so he's kind of about there. Let's turn that other 6 into another 1, so I need to get him to the end of this bit here. So we're all again 4 inches. That's got him there at least. now he's got, I think I've knocked that over, I think that was a 3, yes, it was a 3 in aim. So he can't spot, but he hasn't got anything else he can do, so he can really, yeah, he can't spot because he just can't see across that area. Okay, let's have a look who's next. 2 of hearts. This is Bourneville Starbar. Let's roll his dice, see what he gets then. Okay, he's got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5 and a 6. A little bit of everything. So that's pretty good. So he's got a move, a spot, an aim, shoot, a shoot and a 6, a wild card. Also remember, he can actually change any one result he wants. So he might come out fanning his guns, you know. So yes, first of all he's going to use his 1 and he's going to bring him up to this fence here. That's what he's wanting to do anyway. So this is his first move, so that's 7 inches, so that easily gets into the fence. So he is now at the fence line. We spend that 1, right. So he has got a 2, a spot. Does he need to spot anybody? Well, our man over here, Fast Eddie, he's just within 12 inches, so he can see him anyway, and he was moving. Mickey D is just over 12 inches away, so he's going to use the spot dice to spot Mickey D. So he spotted him. Both of these moved in their turn, so they're not I'm not counting them as being in cover, they're just walking through that stuff. So he spotted both of these guys. So now he's got a 3, a 4, a 5 and a 6. He's also got, on top of this as well, use an additional shoot dice in the current activation if he wants to. Does he want to? No, first of all he's going to use the 3, and remember he's a gunslinger, so he can actually change any one of these as well to any skill he wants, any dice he wants to as well, which is always useful, I think, if you're in a tricky situation like this. But what he's going to do, I think he'll probably use the dice as they are. We're going to use a 3 and a 4 to try and shoot Fast Eddie over here. So the 3 is a +1 to hit. As I say, he's literally on 12 inches, so it's no minuses, so it's a +1 to hit, and I think that's all it's going to be because he's an aim and a shoot. So let's just see what happens with that. He hasn't got anything else he can add on to that. Let me roll it on camera. A 2 +1 is a 3, so that's a miss. We've now got this townsfolk guy. He is going to react to this at the end of the turn, so we'll do that in a second. Well, at the end of the turn. So that's the first shot. Second shot, he's going to turn that 6 into a 3 and then use that 5 as well as another shot, another aim shot at the same chap, Fast Eddie, so another +1. 2 becomes a 3, so that's a miss as well. But at least he's getting some gun smoke out. Next card then is 4 of hearts. This is Malteser. This is the guy who's already on the table. He's in cover. He hasn't moved, so he would need a spotting dice. Oh, that's a good roll. There you go, 4, 4, 4. That is aces and hearts. I can't remember what it's called. It's a special dice roll. So this is aces and 8s, 4 aces and high. We basically gain 1 bonanza token. Turn ends after this activation, and all weapons are reloaded and pins removed. So no, I don't think anybody else has got any pins, but that's good for Mal. So he's going to do some shooting, I think, after that. Okay, as I said, Mal is up here in the back corner. So I'm going to need to spot Fast Eddie over here, so he's going to try to do that. So that's just basically going to be a 6 into a 2, so that's nice and easy. So he's spotted him because he is over 12 inches away, but just under 24 inches away. So that's an easy spot for him. He has the Winchester. So every round he uses here is going to reload anyway at the end of the turn. So let's see what happens. I want to aim, so with a 3, and then shoot with a 4. So he is now aiming at over 12 inches, so that's a +1 automatically with the Winchester, plus the other +1 for shooting at him as well. Well, he could take an aim shot. It's a target within 6 inches, so he can't do anything with that. So let's just see. So basically he's got a +2 on this, and it is a 4, that is a 6, so that is a wound on Fast Eddie. So first blood to the bounty hunters. So that's a shock and a wound on Fast Eddie, so that's the first hit. So I'll just take those dice away now. I know I've spent them. Then we've got 2 6s and a 5 left over, so that's a shoot as well. Does he just want to keep plugging away? No, I need an aimed shot, don't I, at least? So I'm going to do another aimed shot because that'll give him a +1. I could add another aim onto it and then that would take it up to a +3, which is a really good idea, I think. Yeah, let's turn that into a 3. So he's got 2 aims, plus he's aiming over a 12-inch with the Winchester, so then the shoot. So it's a +3 on the dice. Let's see what happens. That was a 2. I'm not going to re-roll that. I've not cocked it. It was a 2 there, so that becomes a 5. So that is another shock for Fast Eddie. So that takes his to 2 shock, unfortunately for him. Right, so that will end the turn. What I'll have to do is react to see what happens with the townsperson over here. So I'll just change the camera and do that. Everybody reloads. And any pins are also removed. So we've got this townsperson here. It's been standing next to Bonneville while he was shooting. So we have to roll the dice and see what the reaction is. So look, he's got a 1. He's a have-a-go hero, a retired gunfighter, irate townsperson, or furious old dame responds with violence. Roll 1d6. On a roll of 5, the character or henchman groups take a shock unless they can dodge. On a 6, he takes a wound unless he can dodge. And then they move 2d6 to the nearest cover. So let's just see what happens. Does he attack? A 5. He's actually hit our man, so he's actually caused a shock on Bonneville. And does he dodge? 5 or a 6 he does. 6, yes, he dodges, but that does pin Bonneville, unfortunately for him. And then the townsperson scurries off into cover. Let's see where he goes. 7 inches. That's going to take him somewhere up here. I think that's practical. Right, so first card up. 2 of hearts. It's Bonneville again. Roll his dice. So we've got a 1, a move, which means you can get rid of that pin. A 2, a 3, a 4, and a 6. Remember, he's also spotted these guys already as well, so he can do probably quite a lot of damage with these dice. So as I said, the first thing is the 1, so he's going to use that 1 to get rid of that pin, so he's no longer pinned. And he's already spotted these 2, as I mentioned before. He could use an additional shooting dice. Well, he's also, remember also he is a gunslinger, so he can actually change any one of these dice into something he wants. So he's going to change this 2 into a 3, I think. And first of all, he's going to do a 3 and a 4 to shoot at Fast Eddie, because Fast Eddie has already taken some damage. That was from Malteser though. So let's have a look. We're hitting him on a, let me have a look. It's a +1. And that's all. He's 12 inches away, so it's just a +1 to hit. Let's have a look. 6 becomes a 7, so yes, that is a hit and a critical hit as well. So I'm going to make a note that he's wounded Fast Eddie. So for a critical hit, he instantly takes a pinned marker as well. And then we roll on the critical hit wound table. So this was our 3 and 4. We've already spent those, just put those to one side. So we're rolling on the critical hit table. A 6. That's the 3 there. A 6 is dead. So he's shot Fast Eddie dead. Fast Eddie has gone through everything. So, but now he's been killed. So there's Fast Eddie. Fast Eddie's corpse. You can take that away. So bang, that's 1 down. And doesn't need to do anything else apart from that. Right, so now he's going to turn his attention over here to Mickey D. We'll have to check, obviously, we'll have to check their force morale at the end of the game, but let's just have a look. So now we've got a 4, a 3 and a 6. He could, well, to be honest, we could spend that card. We could do an aim and a shoot. This time it's just going to be, does he could turn this into a 3 and then he would get a +1 because he's currently just over 12 inches away. So that would be, it would be hard for him to hit. Well, he could use that and get a +1. He's not going to do anything more than just wound him. If he did that, at least he might get a critical hit. Then he could always use his every gun as its own. Yeah, let's turn that into a 3. I think that's the most sensible thing, to give him a +1 shot against Mickey D, who is going to spend his Bonanza token. So that's what he's doing. He's going to spend the Bonanza token. He's a shootist, so he uses his action dice -3. So let's just roll those, see what they come up with. He's got a 1, a 3 and a 6. So that is an aim. And he'd not spotted him actually, has he? He's not spotted our man over there. and he'd need at least one, well, he'd need 2 spotting dice to be able to spot him. He can't do a great deal with that. Oh, mind you, he's got his card that he can use. So let's use that card. He says when they fall, they make more noise. Sometimes they never get up. So that is a spotting dice. So he's using 1. He'll turn that 6. Ooh. Well, let's just measure it, because he's behind cover, and I think he's over 12 inch away. Yes, he's over 12 inch away and behind cover, so he needs 2 spotting dice. So alternatively, what he could do, he could use his move dice to move forward, and then at least use his pistol. Mind you, he's also got lucky as well. He's going to use his lucky skill. Never mind that, we're going to use the lucky skill to re-roll these. He can re-roll any sets of dice in a game. In a game. So it's just once off, but he's going to try it again. So we've got 2 4s and a 1. I don't know if that's worse. It is actually worse, isn't it? Unless he uses the 1 to move forward, takes him out of cover. But if we can get further forward, he can at least spot, can't he? So 3 inches. Well, he's within 12 inches now. So he just needs 1 spotting dice, which he's going to be using his card to do that. So it's 1 spotting dice used up. So you can now see him, but now he's got 2 shots as well. So he spent that 1. So he's got 2 pistols. It's a 12 inch range. So yes, he's definitely in range. So he's going to use 2 shots at our man. Let's see what happens. He gets nothing for it, so he just needs a 5 or a 6. First shot is a 5, is a stun, sorry, a shock, unless Bourneville can dodge it. 5, yes, he's dodged it. Now, if he wanted to, he could jump behind cover up to 4 inch away, something I always forget, but I'm not. I'm going to keep him there. Now he hunkers down behind cover, so he is now going to need a second spotting dice to see if he can see him. He hasn't got one because he had 2 4s. Or, yeah, 2 shoe dice, wasn't it? So he can't actually do anything else. So that kind of ends his turn. He shot him, and then Bourneville has ducked down behind that head, behind the fence there, and disappeared out of view. Okay, so over here then, Bourneville still hasn't changed over one of his dice yet, has he? Because that was a 6. So what he's going to do, he's going to turn that 6 into a 1 to get rid of that pin. And now he's going to blast. He's within 12 inches, so he's going to shoot and get a +1 on his shot, his second shot now. Complicated turn this. And let's have a look. 3 +1 is a 4. That's no effect, but still pretty good. Good going. Right, next up, 2 of spades is Filthy Wurzel. So let's just get his dice roll and see what he gets. So he's got a 1 and a 1, which is 2 moves, a 3, which is an aim, and 5 and 5 and a 6, so a wild card as well in there. So pretty useful. Well, you may or may not remember, but Filthy's got a Sonos shotgun, so I really want to get him as close as possible up here. And he wants to go for Bourneville as quick as he can. So I'm going to use the 2 move dice. So one to bring him on the table, and then the second one is just a 1d6, and just run him up here as quick as he can. So that is 10 inches in total. I don't think it brings him within the 4 inch that he requires for an extra +1, but he is at least within effective range of that shotgun. So that's his 2 dice used up. Then we've got a 3, a 5, 5 and a 6. He needs to spot because he's behind cover, and he could change any 1 action or bonanza dice to a result of his turn, but he's going to change that to a 2 to spot your man Bourneville. Then he is going to unload with both of his shells into Bourneville. Meanwhile, Bourneville is going to interrupt that with one of his bonanza tokens. So well, there it is, just to show you we're playing it. Now he is a gunslinger, so he plays 4 dice because he has got he's currently got 6 action dice. So let's have a look what he's got. He has got a 3, a 4, a 5 and a 1. That is very good actually, because that's exactly what he needs. He doesn't need to spot Filthy because he can see him, he's in the open. He's going to change that 1 into another aim. So then he's going to aim shoot, Then he's also got an extra dice as well if he wants to. So we're going to do 2 aim and shoots at Filthy. Well, 1 aim and shoot at Filthy in the first instance, and then we'll see what else happens. Well, let's have a look. So the first shot is a +1. So let's see, 3 becomes a 4, that's no effect. His second shot is another +1. So that's a 1, becomes nothing. And then he's going to use his card as well, which is every gun gets its own tune, uses 1 additional shoot dice in the current activation. So he's going to use that up and then fire again a third time without a +1 this time. He's just trying to get Filthy a 5. That has shocked Filthy, if nothing else. So that takes one of his dice away, unless Filthy can dodge. Let's have a look. 5 or a 6, and he does. 3, no, he doesn't. So he shocked him, but he hasn't dodged. So that means Filthy now is going to fire. So what he's going to do, he's not aiming, so he's going to use that 5 just to blow him away with 3 dice. And then he's going to reload one of the shots into his shotgun. So 3 dice, he is hitting on a +1. So let's have a look. We've got that 4 becomes a 5, 5 becomes a 6, so that is a shock and a wound, unless our man is able to dodge it, and he dodges it on a 5 or a 6. That was cocked. I'll re-roll it. 3, no, he hasn't dodged it, so he's taken a wound and a shock. Next card is 4 of hearts. So this is Malteser, so let's have a little roll and see what happens with him. We got a 2, 5, a 5, a 3. So let's just see, we've got a 2, a 3, a 4, and 3 5s. It's not great because he can't actually see anybody from where he is, and he can't actually move to see anybody from where he is. I can't spot anyone for there, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to forget his turn, unfortunately for him. Yes, he hasn't really got anything he can do, so that he's just kind of hunkered down in the... He can hear shooting, but he's not sure what's happening. So, who's up next? Okay, it's the Milky Bar Kid. So, let's see if this fella can do something. So he's got a 1, so he can move on to the table. He's got a 2, another 2, so that's 2 2s, a 3, which is aim, another aim, and a shoot as well. So we want the Milky Bar Kid to get on as quick as possible onto here using the 1 dice. So let's see how far he gets. And then he's going to probably try and aim and shoot over here, 6 inches. I don't think that's going to get him very far, unfortunately. So he's to here. Let's see, he's going to try and fire at Mickey D, who is 22 inches away. It's not a great shot. Well, you can spot him over that cover. He's actually not in cover anyway, so he doesn't need those 2s. So I'm going to put those 2 on side. But he has got 2 3s and a 5. He's firing at over effective range, so it's -1. That takes it back to 0. Then that's going to give him another +1 as well. So he is on a +1 on his shot. So let's just see if he hits. 5 is a 6, so yes, that has wounded Mickey D, so that's pretty good going. Next up then, it is 3 of hearts. That is Kit Kat. So let's see what he's got. Well, he's got lots of running and spotting. 4 runs, 1 5 and 1 2. So running, shoot, and spotting and shooting. So we're going to do something similar with him. He's going to come on running over here. So using 4 running dice basically, so that's 11, 14, 17, 20 inches for him. That's a big old run, and he's going to come in from here, so that's going to bring, well, I'll tell you what, we may as well get him up to here. So that brings him to there, and then we've got a 2 and a 5, so he doesn't need the spot, but he can shoot at number 4, which is Mickey D once again. So let's have a look, he's within 12 inches of him. So it's just a straight shot, and let's have a look, 5 or 6, 4, no, that's a miss. I think I may have forgotten to dodge for Mickey D before in the past, but don't worry. Yeah, I just realised I think I forgot to dodge for Mickey D, but never mind. Anyways, 4 of spades, it is Mickey D himself. So he's down to 5 dice. Let's have a look what he's got. We've got 2 5s, 2 3s, and a 2 as well. So he's going to take 2 aimed shots at Kit Kat. So let's. So the first one is going to be a +1 because I think, yeah, he's 12 inches away less than. Yes, they are. So his first shot is an aim shot, so that's a +1. 5 is a 6, is a wound. Can he dodge it? 5 or a 6, and he does. Yes, he does, and he's going to move back out of line of sight, and then also he can't be spotted. So, but it has pinned him though. And so then in that case, Mickey is then going to change and fire up here at our man Bourneville. So this is a +1 instead. Well, he's got a 2, so he can spot him anyway. So he's spotted him, so he needs +1 to hit. 2 becomes a 3, so that's a miss. Okay, next card up then is 3 of spades. That is Fast Eddie, who is now dead, pushing up daisies, so get rid of that. And next card is the ace of spades, so this is Bomber. So let's see what Bomber gets on. Finally, he gets to do something. Let's have a look. We got a 6, well, we got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5 and a 6, so a little bit of everything. He can change, well, he doesn't need to change anything. I'll just bring him on and start shooting with him, I think. So he's going to use his 1 to actually get on the table, and I'm going to bring him on somewhere over here, I think. Let's just have a look. 7 inches. How far up has that got him? I'll bring him between these two, so I want him to about here. I can. And then he can use his 1 to spot, sorry, his 2 to spot, so he can spot Bourneville. So he now has spotted him. Then he's got an aim and 3 shoots if he wants them. Well, no, 2 shoots. He could do 2 aims and shoots. 2 aims, 2 shoots. Or 1 shoot and then a reload. Yeah, he's going to do 1 full shoot. Empty his barrel into your man. So before he does that though, Bourneville is going to play his Bonanza token. His second Bonanza token. So that's that one spent. And he is now rolling his current action dice -2. His current action dice are 4, so -2, a 5 and a 5, which is 2 shoots. He hasn't got anything else he could do, but he could change. No, well, he's just going to shoot at your man. Why not? I think he's about 12 inches away. Let's have a look. 9 inches away. So 2 shots. Just normal shots. First one, 4 is no effect. Second shot is 6 is a wound. Can he dodge it? 5 or 6 and he does. No, he doesn't. So that's a wound on Bomber. So that's an action dice removed completely. And a shock as well for him, so that's not good. That's building up their shock, which is not what they need at this point. So yeah, that was it. That was a reasonable interruption. Not great, but it could have been better, but he needed to do it at this point, I think. So he does manage to shoot back, so he's shooting with that with his first dice. So this is going to be 3 dice because he's using double barrel. He gets a +1 though, so let's have a look. He's got 4, 5 and 5, so that becomes 5 and 2 6s, so that's not good for Bourneville unless he can dodge it. Let's see, can he dodge it? 5, yes, he has dodged that, literally dodged that bullet. But now he's got a 3 and a 6. All he can do, he's completely unloaded, so all he can do is really just reload with 1. So that takes his ammo back up to 1 at least. And I think that probably ends his turn, you know. Right, let's see what the... Okay, I've just done the ride and die test. The bounty hunters are currently on only 1 shock, so they're okay at the moment. They haven't lost anybody. However, the Snaggletooth Boys, they've lost poor old Eddie, so that's 2 off. Plus they have got 1, 2, 3 shock amongst them, so that's another 2 off as well. So that is... it's his 1.5 off, so they're currently on 3.5 to their 4 ride or die number, so they're okay at the moment, but 1 more shock and then they will have to do a ride or die test at the end of this turn. Let's just see. Ace of Hearts, that's our man the Milky Bar Kid. Let's see what he gets up to. He has got 2 1s, which is good, a move, 2 3s, which are aims, and 2 4s and a 5. So 2 aims, 2 shoots, 2 moves. I think that's probably about perfect for just for what he needs at this point. I need to get the Milky Bar Kid back into the fray. He's over here, so he's going to do 2 moves, so it's 3 dice in total, so that's 10 inches. So that gets him to around about here. Then he is going to unload, and who does he shoot at? Do we shoot Bomber, or do we shoot... Let's go for the closest. We're going to shoot at Mickey D. So he's less than 12 inches away, so it's going to be an aim and a shoot and an aim and a shoot. So that's going to take his ammo down to 4. He's going to be shooting at somebody else anyway, so +1, first shot. 3 becomes a 4, is a miss. Second shot, +1. 5 becomes a 6, that's a wound. Does he dodge it? 5 or a 6, yes he does. No he doesn't, so that's a wound on Mickey D. Oh dear, so that has taken them over their ride and die number, so if they're still around at the end of the turn, they may not be around after that. Right, let's next see who's up. 2 of hearts, Bourneville. Let's see what he gets. He's got a 1, a 4, a 4 and a 5. So the 1, I'll use that up because he's going to get rid of his pin for that anyway, and then he'll use the other stuff for shooting. Okay, remember he can change any one of these dice he wants as well, so he's actually going to change a 4 into a 3 to give him a +1 shot against Filthy. So that's going to be a +1. Have a look. 5 becomes a 6, so that is a wound. Does Filthy dodge it? 5 or a 6, and he does. A 6, yes, he has dodged it, but that has then pinned Filthy, which is a reasonable result. Then he's just going to shoot at him now with a normal shot, so there'll be 2 shots he's taken. So the second shot is a 6, is another wound. He can't dodge that, so that just means Filthy now has shock dice off and a wound dice off as well. Oof, he's taking some hits. Okay, next up. 4 of hearts. This is Malteser. There's a guy that's not done anything yet. I might want to move him around actually and start helping out. Oh, a reasonable roll there. We've got 2 6s, 2 5s, a 4 and a 3. So that's an aim. So he can change those 6s into moves if he wants. And yeah, I think that might be useful. So Mal is going to use his 2 move dice here to move as far as he can down towards this fence line if he can. So we've got 12 inch. That's pretty good. So that brings him just to almost the end of the fence here. That's definitely within line of sight of some people now. So let's just see what he can do. He has got an aim and shoot, and he's armed with a Winchester, which he's too close to get that bonus, but he can at least aim and shoot. So that gives him a +1 against Filthy, who is currently rolling about on the floor in pain. So let's just see. Before he does that, Filthy is going to spend his Bonanza token and interrupt that turn. So I'll just put these dice up here by him so we know what he was doing. So it's Filthy's Bonanza token gone. Filthy is rolling... actually, I don't think he can. He can't interrupt because he's only got 3 action dice active and he minuses 2 off his action dice, so he can't actually interrupt this. That said, I don't see why Bomber can't. He can interrupt, and he'll only get 1 dice though. Is it worth it? No, it's probably not, to be honest. No, it is. Come on, let's do it. That's what Bonanza tokens are for. So he's going to spend his Bonanza token. He's also going to play his card, I'm faster than you'll ever be, and he's going to try to advance on Mal. So he gets 2d6 immediately for movement. 2 inches. So he gets to about there. But then he gets to roll his action dice. His action dice is a 4, which is a shoot. He has 1 ammo left. Does he shoot against it? He's 9 inches away. 9 inches from both of them. Yeah, he's going to shoot at him. And he's only going to fire 1 round because that's all he's got. And that will be hitting then on a 5 or a 6. 2, it's a miss. So he's blown that. Now we go back to our lad. He's shooting with an aimed shot first of all at Filthy. So that's a +1 to hit. 3 becomes a 4, is a miss, no effect. Then he's going to take 2 more shots as well. So I'll just turn this ammunition down. He's probably going to be shooting at everybody else as well, so I'll just turn all the ammo down. So first shot at Filthy, just a normal shot. 6 is a wound on Filthy. So that's a wound off him and a wound in the shock. Well, I'll tell you what, his second and final shot this turn is going to shoot at Filthy again. So have a look. A 3 becomes nothing. Filthy can't dodge it because he is pinned. Maybe the Snaggletooth Boys' luck is turning. 2 of spades. That is Filthy. He is down to 1 dice. And he needs a 1. Or a 6. 5. He can't do anything. He can't change that. No, he can change any one action or bonanza to a result of his roll. He's going to use that and get rid of his pin. So that 5 becomes a 1. So that's all he's doing. So at least he is no longer pinned. But that's his turn over. Next up, Ace of Spades. It is our man Bomber. Let's see what he does. He's got a 1, 6, 6 and a 5. Relatively useful, I think, for what he needs to do. Right, what he wants to do is he wants to move. Well, he's going to load first of all, so that takes that up there. Then he's going to turn that into another load, so that takes it up to 2 in his ammo. However, Milky Bar Kid is going to interrupt him with a bonanza. So let's see, he's just going to spend his bonanza token. So he is rolling 3 dice because he's still a shootist. So let's see what he gets. Put this 1 on this 6 here next to Filthy, next to Bomber. Double 6 and a 5. That is pretty good for probably what he wants. So let's see, what range is he at? He's at a foot away, so he's just at 12 inches. If he moved, he'd need to be under 4 inches to get a +1. So I'll tell you what, he's going to move and try and move 2d6 up to him. 5 inches, that's not going to be enough to get that bonus, but he's then going to shoot with an aim. Or should he do 2 aims? 2 shoots, or an aim and a shoot. Aim and a shoot gets more chance of wounding, but then he's also got more chance in general of doing something as well. I'll tell you what, yes, let's aim and shoot. So it's a +1. Shooting against Bomber, obviously. 1 becomes a 3. No, it's a miss. Right, so then we go back to Bomber's turn. So he is now going to use his 1 to move. Before he does that, Malteser is also going to interrupt. He's a shootist. He's going to use his bonanza token. He's got 2 of these, remember. And he's got 3 dice. So he is also going to try and move on Bomber as well. The poor fella. So he's got a 1, a move, and 2 aims. Okay. However, you know what he can do? He can move this, use this 1 to move. So this is what he's planning on doing. We're trying to shut them down at this point. So he's going to use the 1 to move. So I want to get him within 6 inches of Bomber if he can, because he's got a card that will allow him to do 2 inches. No, I don't think that's going to do it. He's just on 6 inches, so I'm just going to allow it. He's just on 6 inch. So what he's going to do is spend his card here. He says, I've got 2 guns, 1 for each here. Take 1 shot at any target within 6 inch with a +1 to hit. So that's a freebie. And he's also going to add on those 2 aim dice as well. So it's a +3 to hit him. 4 becomes a 7, so that is a critical wound. So let's just put that there. And then he's going to try and dodge on a 5 or a 6. Yes, he's dodged it, but that has also pinned him. So that kind of ends their bonanzas. That was close. He is now going to spend that 1 to get rid of that wound. He is currently full with his gun, so he's now going to shoot again at your man over here, the bounty hunter. But before he does that, Malteser is once again going to interrupt with his second bonanza, his last bonanza dice. So he's rolling 3 dice again. He's splurging these bonanza dice, but let's have a look. He's got a 6, a 4 and a 1. That's a 6 and a 4 and a 1. So he could use that 1 to move, or he could stay where he is and fire with an aimed shot. He's going to fire with an aimed shot at Bomber, so it's a +1 to hit. Let's have a look. 6 becomes a 7, is a critical wound. Does Bomber dodge it? Let's have a look. 5 or a 6. Yes, he does. So that's going to give him another pin. So I'll just take down their ammunition. But that ends that bonanza. So then Bomber, now he's going to turn that 6 into a 1 because he has to get rid of that pin, and that ends Bomber's turn. So already, they didn't get rid of Bomber, but they've stopped him doing a hell of a lot of things. So next up is 3 of Hearts. This is Kit Kat, who is currently cowering behind the barn. Let's see if he can pull himself together and get out there. So he's got a 2, a 3, 2 5s and 2 6s. So he's going to use the 1 6 to turn it into a 1 first of all to get rid of the pin, and then he'll probably use the other 1 to move as well. Right, so he's already got rid of his pin. He's going to use that second dice there to move, and he's going to come round the corner here as far as he can get. 7 inch. I just want to bring him there really over the fence, and then he's going to shoot across here. No, actually, let's bring him right out. Let's get him out to about here instead. It's not less than 4 inches away, 6 inches away from him, and then he's going to do an aimed shot and then just a normal shot. The 2 is a spot, so he can't really do anything else. All he can do is so the aimed shot first of all is going to be a +1 to hit, and this is against Mickey D. 4 becomes a 5, so that's a shock to him. Does he dodge it? 5 or a 6? No, he doesn't, so that's a shock on Mickey D. And then he's got another shot as well, which is just his normal 5. Just a normal roll. A 2 is a miss. Then the final card for the turn, 4 of hearts, sorry, 4 of spades. That's Mickey D. He's only got 2 dice at the moment. He's got a 3 and a 5, so he's got a shot and a aim, and that's it. So he's going to try and take a shot at, probably, I would say, at Malteser. So yeah, he's going to shoot across at Malteser. It's a +1 because he's got an aim, and that's it, just 1 shot at him. Let's have a look. 5 becomes a 6, so that is a wound. Does he dodge it? 5 or 6? 4, no he doesn't, so he's actually wounded him. So I've done a quick tot up, and the Snaggletooth Boys have got 7 shock, which is 3 force morale, plus they've also lost their man Eddie Clark, so that's another 2, so that takes them to 5. They have a force morale of 4, so they are well below it. This is a ride and die. They've got to do 2d6. If they get a 6, they can carry on. If they get double 6, they get another dice in their next force morale roll. But let's just see. 1 and a 4. No, they ride for the hills very sensibly. They're currently surrounded by a bunch of shooters. So here's the table at the end of the game. So we've got the bounty hunters closing in. You can see they're literally surrounding and closing in on the Snaggletooth Boys. They lost their man Fast Eddie Clark over here, unfortunately for him, and the others were slowly getting gunned down. Although they weren't getting wounded, they were slowly being pinned and just not being able to do anything. The lads over here, in total 2 wounds. One of them was from Bourneville, he took a wound, and Kit Kat also took a wound as well. Couple of shock, and that was it. They only had 2 shock in total, so they were happy. They'd blown all of their bonanza tokens though, but that's what they're there for. Meanwhile, over here, the Snaggletooth Boys, I'll just show you, we've got Bomber was wounded and had a shock. Filthy had 3 shock and also 2 wounds as well. Fast Eddie obviously dead, and Mickey D, once again, he had a wound and also 3 shock as well. So that was the state of them. So finally the bounty hunters have managed to get back on top. What I'll do now is I'll do the admin afterwards. I'll just we'll go through that and count who gets reputation and things, and then we'll wrap it up there. Okay, so admin phase. First of all, at the timber mill, the winners were the bounty hunters. So they've now taken control of the timber mill. So I'll just put that in there so we know who's won. Then we can work out who's got what reputation. First of all, nobody lost 3 dice permanently, more than 3 dice permanently. So nobody is wounded. They will come back for the next term. But let's just work out what happened here. So each character that completes the game without being killed, they get 2 reputation for it. So that is literally everybody apart from Fast Eddie Clark. So I'm just going to put KIA there. So we've got, I'm just going to put these in 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 and 2, and then the characters on the winning side, well, that's only half of them. They get an extra 1 for that, so +1, +1, +1 and +1, so that's the bounty hunters because they're on the winning side. Opponent's force morale reduced to 0. No, it wasn't. They still had, I think it was about 2.5, 3 left. Character wounded one or more enemy characters in the game. They only get this once, but the Milky Bar Kid wounded Mickey D, so that's another +2. Boneville wounded and then also killed Fast Eddie, but he also wounded Filthy as well. However, we got this extra, so he gets a +2 for that, for the wounding at least. So Kit Kat wounded Filthy as well, so that's another +2. And Malteser also wounded Fast Eddie. Meanwhile, Filthy wounded Boneville, and then Mickey D also wounded Kit Kat as well. This is why it's always worthwhile taking notes, see if you can remember them. You probably want to go back through the video to see if I got this correct or not. No, don't, please don't, because I probably didn't. However, we also have character puts an enemy character of equal or lower level out of action by removing their last action dice. Well, that was Boneville, because he shot and killed Fast Eddie, but he was a lower level, so that gives him another +2. And let's just check anything else. Scenario specific reputation. No, they had to get the dry goods off the table. Didn't happen because our man was stopping it. So that's it. So that's what we got. So Milky Bar Kid gets another 5. Boneville gets 2, 4, 6, 7 in total. Let's make a note of these so I know they are. Kit Kat gets 5. Malteser gets 5. Bomber has got 2. Filthy has got 4. And Mickey D has also got 4. So we now add those onto their existing reputation. So the Milky Bar Kid has got 5 now, so that takes him up to 11. The Boneville takes him up to 7 because he started with 0 his first game. It's good to have a gunslinger around, isn't it? Another 5 for Kit Kat, so that takes him up to 9. And then another 5 as well for Malteser, that takes him up to 11. We'll see what happens with these levels in a second. Bomber gets another 2, so that takes him up to 10. Filthy has another 4, so that takes him to 14. Fast Eddie, KIA. So we're going to have to roll up a new character for these guys who will join their gang for the next one. And then Mickey D, he had another 4, so that takes him up to 12. So circle these so I can see them easier. And right, so now reputation. So with 11 points, character gains 1 new additional Desperado card for further games. So that's a Milky Bar Kid, so we'll just put +1 card. Bounty Hunter, a Greenhorn becomes a shootist and gains a skill. He's not, so he doesn't have anything. 9, Greenhorn he becomes a shootist, sorry, so this is Kit Kat, so he's now a shootist and a new skill as well. And shootist, so he's no longer a Greenhorn, so he's also got another skill, so we'll check that out as well. So I'm going to put +1 skill here, and then we'll walk through these in a second. Malteser is on 11, so he gains an additional Desperado card for further games, so +1 card. These are doing alright out of this. So Bomber, he also gets an additional card as well, +1 card. Filthy is on 14. That doesn't give him anything until he gets to 15. He will become a gunslinger as soon as he gets another point. Fast Eddie, obviously, he's gone. Mickey D is a shootist at 12. He gets an additional card as well. So +1 card. So these guys are swimming in cards if nothing else. That was only a one-off, that Desperado card, because that was loot that they got from their previous income. So the only person that's gained a skill is Kit Kat. So we need to find out what skill Kit Kat actually has. So we'll roll that in a second. Let's have a look. Just got to find it first of all. He's a shootist. So we roll a d6, find out what he's got, and it's a 2. He's in his rancher skills. So let's have a look, see what they are. A 3. Born into, no, sorry, hang on, I'm doing this completely wrong. We roll here on the skill type, just what it is. It's a 3, so it's a toughness skill. He's already tough, which I keep forgetting about, to be honest, but he is already tough. So we go back to the skills now, and then we find out which skill it actually is. Toughness skills, here we are. So let's have a look. He is 5. He's got true grit, so that's good. So true grit. I'm assuming if you already have a skill that you've already got in your roller, you just re-roll it. So that means he can get rid of 2 shock dice for the price of 1, basically. Okay, I think that's all those bits done, so let's just get rid of that. So now what we need to do then is re-roll our new guy who comes in with the Snaggletooth Boys. Let's just jump back again. We've enhanced the characters, we've done all that. I do need to let's have a look. So now we roll to see, well actually let's see what our income is first, because they might be able to spend some income on these guys. So the bounty hunters, they've just taken control of the timber mill, so they have a 5d6 income, whereas the Snaggletooth Boys only have a they just have a 6d6. They only have a 6d6, but they have a 6d6. Right, so let's see what their income is. First of all, the bounty hunters, 5d6s, and we're looking for 5s and 6s. Gives them $20. So that's 2 6s, so that's $40, plus the 20 they've got, so that is going to give them $60 in total. And they roll 2 6s, we add those up, and then we identify any loot that the territories generate. So we have a look. Two 6s. A cache of gold is found worth an additional $50. And also, because they are a territory benefit, when they win a game, they can control and they can gain some benefits. So they also have the what do you say? It's the timber yard. So look, does that give them any benefits? It doesn't seem to, no. There's no benefits for having a timber yard, but they do have another $50, so that gives them $110. Put pound sign, but don't worry. So $110 for the bounty hunters, so they did actually get some bounty. Meanwhile, Snaggletooth Boys, how much did they get? Let's have a little look. Nothing. The lazy ass ranch has returned nothing for them. Not a dollar. So they've still got 40. Now they have to see if they can get a new recruit. So let's have a look, see what we've got. So we just roll the dice. You can spend some money to add to this, but they're not going to because they can't afford it. A 1, they've got themselves a new greenhorn. So, sorry, I'm going the wrong one, aren't I? So let's do them down here. Greenhorn. Again, I'll give them a name in a bit. Let's find out their background and if they've got any skills or anything as well. Let's just jump back. It's nice that this campaign is going either way, isn't it, basically? Right, the greenhorn. Let's have a look. What is his background? He is a 5, which is a railroad worker. Maybe he worked with Mickey D in the past. And skills, he has a 2, no skill, unfortunately, but he does have a pistol, and that's it. Right, so the other lads have got $110 to spend, could I say, and now they have a shooter, so they could actually go to a better weapons store. I don't know if I might do this off camera, just because this might take a little while just to think about what they're going to be buying and things. I'm just having a look, just trying to find where the actual price list is. Let me jump back. I think it's somewhere over here somewhere. So yeah, I might do this just after. Well, we could go to the gunsmith and maybe get some bits and pieces. I don't know. There's yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this off camera. This will take a little bit of thinking, and my head is I'm not thinking straight at the moment because I've just had a game. But that's pretty much where we stand at the moment. And yeah, we've got a new character in the Snaggletooth Boys, so they lost another guy, and this time the bounty hunters won a game. So the 3rd game in, they've actually managed to win one. I'll roll it up to see. Well, I'll decide where they're going to attack next time, and see if they can do some more damage to the Snaggletooth Boys. But that really was a cracking game, I think. Another exciting one. Alright, if you've enjoyed that, do hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the game so far. I made mistakes, of course I did. I always do. Don't worry about it. They were all fun, and that's the main thing. And I hope you've enjoyed this, and it wasn't too fast and loose for you.